Hi, I'm Liz Jarvis. I call myself the Profit Geek now because I'm all about making sure that business owners make good profit and understand their profits. Today we're going to be talking about the secrets to making a profit. I want to empower you to really understand your profit so that you can tweak that profit and make more profit, which will free you up to have time with your family and be more certain about how the business is going, whether you're on track, whether perhaps you shouldn't be in business at all, or whether success is close or still too far away for you. Perhaps you should shelve your business idea until it is closer to money making. Perhaps you are right in the thick of it and very close to a breakthrough and need to understand a little bit better what's going on inside your business. Either way, I'm going to be going over 3 very important parts to this secret that I'm talking about. Now, profit must be your priority. Like many other soul-centered entrepreneurs, I find it hard to charge money for what I do. But thanks to good education from various people around me and my dwindling bank balance, I have realized that it is so important to be paid well for what you do so that people can benefit from what it is that you have to offer the business community or whichever community you are serving. So today we're going to have 3 areas. We're going to talk about the fact that your business is really one of your babies and that your financials are actually the medical records of that baby and also the story of your business. And the last thing is we're going to talk about your responsibilities for that baby that is your business in growing that baby to a full-grown, self-sufficient adult. So we're going to talk about the business as your baby, because what you feed your baby is important, how you nurture your baby is important, and if you just ignore certain things about your baby, it's not going to thrive. We've got to keep records in business. That's part of what we do. The records are about the progress of your business. So it's not about numbers that we should be scared of. It's not about thinking I was never any good at maths, I'm never going to be able to cope with this, or that is someone else's job. The worst mistake that you can make in business, in my opinion, is thinking that it is someone else's job to look after the record keeping. The record keeping is about the progress of your business. And if you don't keep all the records, then you've only got part of a picture of your business. There's all sorts of tricks that I go through in my more detailed programs to make sure that you make it easy for you. It's actually very dependent on who's going to read those financial statements, who's going to interpret what's going on in your business. You want to make sure that everything possible goes into those records. You need to take responsibility for that. And that could include making sure that you use the right bank account for all of the business transactions so that you don't have to remember to get those receipts out of the car and record them somewhere. We want to try and overcome the temptation to be sloppy about it. I want to encourage business owners to do the best they can do to do it properly, keep a single bank account, keep everything going through that bank account, take regular drawings to look after your household expenses, because by doing that you make life easy for yourself. And if you are the one that's going to keep those records, and I recommend that you are that person at least until you've really got the hang of your financials, you should keep those records and you should think hard about whether you really need to spend that money for the business. Don't be fooled by those it's tax deductible advertisements. We don't get 100% back of what we spend on our business. That's not true at all. It's a really important thing to understand that a tax deduction doesn't mean it didn't cost you. If you spend $100 on something for your business, it's still $100 that you couldn't spend on groceries for your family. In business, we want to take responsibility. We want profit to be our priority because profit is what we then get to share with our families. Now, as you keep them, whether you just keep them as your bank statements and a pile of receipts, or whether you keep them with one of the many software solutions that there are, or you write a handwritten cash book, it really doesn't matter as long as it's recorded. Then from that recorded information, we want to get familiar with the financial statements that those records then produce. Now, some people find financial statements terrifying because when you see them, you think, I don't understand that. Or worse still, you get them in the mail and you throw them in the bottom drawer, you get them in your email and just file them because you don't know what it means. Now, I want to suck the scare out of you when it comes to numbers and it comes to financial statements. As I've started to think about what those financial statements mean to people, I came to realise that in fact those financial statements are the story of your business. If you keep thinking of your financial records as the story of your business, you can start to digest it a little bit differently. Now, inside of your financial statements, there are various lines. There's income lines and expense lines. Some people get really worried about getting it right and making sure that they get the right things in the right places, and they might become overwhelmed about that decision and think, I'm getting this wrong, I don't want to do it anymore, or I'm not really sure about this, I'll put it off till later. Now, again, it's important that you don't do that, because these lines inside of your profit and loss statement, they're actually the descriptors about what's going on in your business. And it's actually up to you to decide what those lines should be. It's about you and your business. It's about how you think about your business and how you want to look at how your business is going and what you've spent. Either way, it's not right or wrong. It is the story of your business. It's not right or wrong or black or white. It gets combined into a summary detail that can be statistically compared for the sake of the tax office. But you need to understand your story. You need to be able to look at that detail in those financials and see if something's wrong. And we can unpack this much better one-on-one if you need to. Start to understand that this keeping of the records of the progress of your business is up to you. Is up to how you want to see that, what's meaningful to you. If you start with this kind of, one lump approach, and then later you want to make it a bit more detailed, you can do that. You can decide that I'm just going to make this more detailed from today on. So these financial statements, there's two types. There's profit and loss statement, and there's a balance sheet. A profit and loss, it is for a period of time. So you can see your profit and loss over a period of time, whichever period you choose to look at. It's entirely up to you when you're reading it. The balance sheet is at a date in time. Your balance sheet tells you about the assets and liabilities of your business. So a very simple balance sheet would show us what cash you have in the bank and what debtors you have. If some customers owe you some money, that's called debtors. So the cash plus the debtors would be your total assets if that's all that you had. And perhaps in the liabilities, there's a bit of money that you owe to the tax office and perhaps some creditors that you've got terms on. When you add your assets together and you add your liabilities together, then you can take one from the other and that will tell you your equity. The bigger your business gets, the more complicated that balance sheet gets. But it still comes back to the same simple basics. How much money came in? How much money went out? How much money is left? That's your profit. What's left? Or your loss if you spent more than you earned. And then your balance sheet. What assets do you have? What liabilities are there? And what's left over? So financial statements aren't that hard to understand when you consider them to be the story of your business. You only have to understand your financial statements. You only have to get comfortable with your numbers and what they mean to you. When I started, I talked about promising to give you some of the secrets. The third part of the secret is that the growth of this baby, the growth of the baby into a mature business is your responsibility. Now, you might get some people to help you along the way. You might employ a bookkeeper, or as you get larger, you might have an internal accountant. The main summary that I would like to share with you is that the more time you spend with your numbers, the better they can get. And if we don't look at our numbers or our financial records, we're not really going to know what's going on. As you start to spend more time with your numbers, you might start looking forward to what we want to happen with our business. Now, that's sometimes called budgeting. I like to call it profit forecasting. This is an important part of business. The more profitable you are, the more time comes available to really work on your business.